You're in charge of the dogs.
All right, we have so many picks and bans. All right, restart. All right, we have so many suspect tests. Restart. Okay, okay. Hey, Justin, what are we doing today? Justin, tell us. Tell the people.
Man, I'm really excited. So this extracurricular, we've got some a whole lot of stuff is shifting around in the singles tier on Smogon. So this is a couple different tiers. So we've got the Smog BDSP meta, which we link in the description to our first premiere video. I think we've done one so far.
Yeah, we're gonna do more
on the channel. Yeah, we've done a lot of practicing, and we filmed a couple, but I don't remember how many we actually published yet.
Yeah.
We did the monkey meta, right?
Yeah, that's the one that's up
There
right
we
now.
go. Nice. So yeah, definitely check that out. So the BDSP meta, if you don't know, obviously Showdown, the simulator, you can go on there and play Sword and Shield. You can play old school other gens, like Gen 7 is on there. There's a whole bunch of like 1,000 different categories of what you can play, right? And they have recently put out the BDSP meta, so it's only anything that you can play inside the cartridge game, basically just in simulator form. It's really awesome. It's great for Brandon and myself, Doug, other people in the PMC. We cut our teeth in 4th gen, so this is really awesome for us to go back and, like, it's sort of weird because, like, man, there's no Darmanitan, there's no Gigalith, there's no Tornadus, or whoever depending on what tier you're playing, right, or what VGC or whatever. But being able to just have the only Pokedex is up through Sinnoh, up through Gen 4.
Yeah, it's weird.
Really, really exciting, and it's different to be like, wow, Empoleon's OU again. We basically went back to 4th gen and like looked up who was OU back then and started like, oh yeah, I forgot about this.
Yeah.
It felt good. It felt really good.
So guys, last thing. What were we gonna say? What were we gonna say?
No. I was just gonna kick it over to you. So obviously, there's a lot of BDSP changes. So not only did they make the tier that we've been playing on, now they've done their first amendment to the tier. We've got some bans and some suspect testing, and then obviously in the Showdown regular formats. I was just gonna kick it over to you. What's going on over there? There's a bunch of news.
Yeah, so we're going to start with the elephant in the room really quick. Before we do that, we're on our way to 100 subscribers. If you guys like this video or anything we've done in the past, only takes you a second to hit the subscribe button. It's not a huge commitment. I've done it. I've subscribed to a couple channels before, and it was a great experience. So if you guys want to hit the subscribe button, we'd really appreciate that. We would love to get to 100 subs before the channel reaches its 1-year anniversary in January. But anyway, it's snowy outside. Let's talk about the elephant in the room, and that's Kyurem. Or Kyurem, however you want to say it. We have looking really nice and toasty.
I have to. It's freezing.
Kyurem is getting suspect tested in Sword and Shield OU. This Pokemon. Yeah, this Pokemon. We'll give you our opinions.
Spoiler alert: we don't agree with this.
Yeah. So a lot of the reasoning is this Pokemon. Obviously, the combination of Freeze Dry and Ice Beam is really, really strong. Draco Meteor, taking out things like Latios. Offensive, and the Scarf versions, I think, are especially powerful in this tier. It's a really nice, reliable check to Landorus, who the metagame revolves around, right? The metagame kind of revolves around Landorus.
Absolutely. And that's why I mentioned it was so crazy to play like a BDSP tier where he doesn't even exist yet, because obviously he came out in 5th gen. So,
yeah, but the other ground flying type is like the king of that meta, isn't he? You know what I mean?
Yes.
Gliscor.
Yeah. And he's so much fun.
Yeah,
he's got so many options, offensive, defensive. We've seen so many derailing, but Gliscor is one of the PMC favorites. Like obviously, Gliscor is in. He's not in your top 10. I drew your top 10. He didn't make the cut, but he's 11.
But he's up there. But anyway,
we'll make him number 11 for you.
So when it comes to Kyurem.
Yeah. So the Ice Dragon is obviously this is just the base form, right? Not the combined forms are both Ubers.
They're both Ubers, and they're talking about this one joining Ubers as well. A
bit of a stat difference, isn't there?
It is, and I want to say Freeze Dry looks great in Ubers, but at the same time, and he gets Earth Power as well, but.
Good coverage, really good coverage.
But there would be no reason to run Kyurem in Ubers over one of his fusion
Black
forms.
or white, right?
There's if you want to take advantage
does the
of
same
like,
thing but better kind of situation.
Yeah, you would run Kyurem white if you want really strong freeze dries, specs freeze dries, or choice scarf freeze dries. Like there's no reason to run Kyurem. So I don't think Kyurem would see any play in Ubers.
Does he have anything going for him? Is he bulkier? Is he faster? Is he a stronger special attack? Anything? Or is it all weaker across the board?
No, I'm pretty sure. Well, let's see. I've got him up here. If you
go, maybe all of a sudden, maybe base Kyurem's faster or something like that.
No, they're all the same speed. You just get a 10-point defensive buff on one of the sides depending on which one. So Kyurem white gets a 10-point special defense boost. Kyurem black gets a 10-point defense boost. So
to match their corresponding special attack or physical attack.
Yeah, but if you want to spam freeze dry, Kyurem white has 170 base special attack. Why would you run regular Kyurem, over? So I understand that Kyurem is really strong, obviously offensively, but I think if you get rid of Kyurem, here's my big concern, is you open the door for more Landorus usage. And I realize Weavile is part of the tier, but Intimidate does affect that Pokemon a little bit. A lot of it, honestly.
Mm-hmm.
And it also opens up the door for
Triple Axle can miss.
Yeah, it opens up the door for Heatran as well. So you're going to see those Pokemon rise in usage a lot. I don't know if that's what people necessarily want, is more Landorus and more Heatran. So I hope he stays in the tier. And I think you do too. I think you kind of agree with me there, right?
Yeah, because he does fit the bill of sort of that glass cannon.
Yes.
So you can kill him. Yes. It's not like he's super tanky and deals all the damage and has perfect coverage. He does have weaknesses. He's good, but he's not perfect.
Yeah, I mean, I think the boots variants. Well, the first I was going to say they're not very common on you don't run boots on the offensive versions. You do run boots on the sub-roost versions, which a lot of people. That's one of the things with Kyurem is like if you switch out and super it subs up on you, then that can be a problem. But game flow things. Like I said, I hope this Pokemon remains in OU because we need a Pokemon that can kind of break teams before the...
Yeah, you need a strong special attacker. You need Ice type. You need a lot of what he brings to the table.
Yeah, and I would hate to see the meta go... I don't want to say stall.
Yeah, I know what you mean, though.
Because OU games are long enough already, aren't they? You know what I mean?
Exactly, and they keep... Since the iteration of the Sword and Shield meta in OU, they have continuously over-nerfed or over-suspect or banned the offensive threats, like Cinderace. We've talked about this on the channel. Yeah. And then it just becomes a super tank meta. And it's like they're trying to make a super tanky stall meta.
Yeah, and it's like I appreciate having some balance, but we need something that can break through
the annoying mons.
Yeah.
Yep.
So that suspect test runs until December 12th, and hopefully we'll be able to use them again after that. Who knows?
Yes. So we obviously will keep you updated on the channel here. It's something that's near and dear to our hearts. Obviously, Brandon's a big fan of Kyurem. I've had to fight his for years.
Yeah.
He's a big threat, but we don't think he's ban worthy.
Yeah.
That's our personal opinion. What do you think? Comment down below.
Yes, please comment down below. We would love to hear you guys. You know what I mean? We're here just giving you guys our thoughts. We would love to hear yours. So
absolutely. So what's next, buddy? So what's further on in the showdown?
So the next thing we've got going on here is we're gonna move over to BDSP OU. We're gonna kind of move
back and forth.
Yeah, back and forth. We've got Blazekin. Blazekin has been banned from BDSP OU. Not really a big surprise.
Not surprising at all. Blazekin was banned out of Black and White OU.
He was also banned out of Sword and Shield, or I'm sorry, Sun and Moon OU. So just a generation, I believe just a generation ago, Speed Boost Blaziken was banned. So
yep. So Speed Boost Blaziken has always been a problem, and obviously in traditional 4th gen meta, There was no such thing as hidden abilities. They didn't exist yet until 5th gen when Dream World came out.
Yeah.
You remember Dream World abilities?
Yeah.
Now they're called hidden abilities, obviously. Pardon me. And so yeah, but with the Brilliant Diamond Shining Pearl remakes, they're not necessarily as faithful as what they put on the tin, and that's not always, it's not a negative. It's not a negative criticism, it's just a fact.
Yeah.
But one of the things, like, obviously it's a whole different meta because, like, there's certain items that just don't exist. There's no weakness policy. There's no assault vest. There's no heavy duty boots. Mm-hmm. These are huge staples in the 8th gen metagame that we're used to, whether it's singles or doubles.
Yeah.
Right? So, not having access to some of these items, and then on top of that, being in a 4th gen metagame with hidden abilities, it's a very interesting setup.
It's
going on right now.
It's pretty cool. I do too.
Yeah, I like it a lot. It's super fun. If you haven't tried it out already, obviously, like, we already spruced it up a little bit, but go check out smogon.com. I think it's /Showdown. Otherwise, just go to Google and type in Smogon Showdown and just download it and try out the simulator. It's free. Super awesome.
Yeah.
So Blazekin getting banned is not a surprise at all. Speed boost was pretty impressive in 5th gen. It allowed him to either, substitute. Sword Stance was a great moveset that I used quite a bit. He had a good dual stab of firefighting. He got great access to other moves like Brave Bird, Thunder Punch, Earthquake, Stone Edge. He's got really, really cool options.
Because Thunder Punch as well, right?
Thunder Punch as well, correct. Yeah. So he does get a lot of good options there. Flare Blitz. It does a lot of damage. He's got a base, I believe it's 120 attack.
Yeah.
And then 70 speed. So you either protect 3 attacks. I believe that was Brandon's.
Yeah, that's the one I
kind of go-to staple.
Yep.
So you protect the first turn. I used to do that on Sharpedo with speed boost. You protect the first turn. You get the initial speed boost, and now you kind of outspeed everything, so to speak. But with Blaziken at like 70 or 75 speed, you really need the +1. And in an ideal world, what you do is you get the +1 and you kill a poke in the same turn, so that way the next turn, you know what I mean, you could potentially like protect or sub or whatever.
Or the alternative,
to get the +2.
The alternative is, you switch in on, say, Caesar. Caesar can't touch you, and he's going to U-turn out. Or so you Sword Stance on the U-turn, or Sword Stance on a choice locked Pokemon. And I'm looking right now. And we'll wrap this one up real quick because this one was a no-brainer. But
yeah.
I'm looking at
for anybody that was around in 5th gen when Dream World abilities became a thing, this is we honestly saw this coming before it happened. We were talking in private, like, oh, I wonder how long. Like, we were making a joke, like, I wonder how long until this gets banned or that. And Blaziken was one of the things that we had, brought up in that conversation along with Doug.
Yeah, I mean, it beats. I'm looking at the top 33 most used. It beats Scizor, it beats Breloom, it beats Gengar, it beats it can beat Starmie with Thunder Punch.
Especially now that because also if I'm not mistaken, in BDSP meta, Gengar is still nerfed the way he is in 8th gen. So back in 4th gen there were 2 options. Or technically 5th gen with Dream World abilities, but there were 2 options for Gengar. You could have Levitate or Curse Body. Now, in Sword and Shield, he only has Curse Body. Levitate's not an option anymore, so you can just smack him with super effective EQs or whatever, right?
Yep.
In BDSP, that's still the same thing. So again, that's another little...
another thing. Yeah. Gengar's still great right now, but yeah.
Oh, yeah, he's still great. But being able to... because Blaziken has EQ, you're able to deal with things like... I mean, obviously, Gengar's super squishy. You could just Fire Punch him or Flare Blitz him and he dies.
Yeah.
But, super good. Yeah. Love to see the Hoenn rep. Not surprised at all. Again, same thing we said back in 5th gen, 6th, 7th. Like, this was always our stance. I would rather them just ban the ability.
Yeah.
Because we know that they've done it before, which just kind of goes into what we're going to talk about next in BDSP, which is the fact that they banned Drizzle.
Yes, Drizzle has been banned. This is one that I actually can get behind. But like, why didn't they just ban Blaziken speed boost and let us use regular Blaziken?
And
I've seen a lot of arguments like for and against that, but I think it just makes more sense to just ban speed boost rather than Blaziken. I would love to use Choice
And
Scarf
not Speed Boost
Blazekin.
in general, but just on him. But yeah.
Exactly. But yeah, so
Let us use Blazekin.
yeah. So yeah, that's gonna move us on to the next thing really quick. We're gonna talk about Drizzle. Drizzle has been banned. Like I said, I am kind of for this because when I look at some of the Pokemon, Kingdra is the first one.
I mean, let's be honest. You're for this because you're one of your two most common opponents between me and Doug, and I love to run Rain every tier all the time, always. So let's be honest. That's why you're happy to see.
Yeah, I am.
And that's sad, as we never actually got to do our. We never got to do the Penelope and Poncho feature before they got banned.
Yeah.
Penelope obviously being our Pelipper, Poncho the Ludicolo. Those are staple nicknames of the PMC channel.
Yep.
Go ahead.
I was just going to say, it makes a lot of sense because Kingdra will destroy this tier behind Rain.
Yeah.
But between Draco Meteor, you could even run Dragon Pulse and Hydro Pump.
I'm personally a Pulse guy because there's no D-Max meta.
Yeah, that's true.
It's just my personal flavor, but Draco Meteor is going to destroy. Yeah, that's one thing I want to mention is that the BDSP meta is very different to the Sword and Shield OU meta.
Yeah.
Fairies do exist in BDSP, so obviously Sylveon's not a thing because it didn't exist yet, but like Mons that existed back then, like Ralts, Curly, and Gardevoir that used to be pure Psychic, now they are Psychic Fairy. In BDSP, they are also still maintaining this new Fairy dual typing. So
yes.
Like fairies are not as prevalent. So this is actually Brandon's point about dragons in BDSP OU. You want to talk about that?
Yeah, dragons are really good, and that's why
dragons are back to the top again. It's not so if you have a fairy type, and that's why Weavile and Mamoswine are so good right now in BDSP because of their stab ice moves.
Yeah,
big stocks there. And again, Kyurem doesn't exist. He came out in 5th gen, so there's a big slot or a big hole to be filled in the meta, and that's countering the dragons.
Yep. And Kingdra in the Rain was one way to do that, but at the same time, I'm looking at this graphic here, and it says Pokemon that benefited from the Drizzle ban. I'm just going to list them all off really quick. We got Heatran, Mamoswine, Infernape, Blaziken, Alakazam, Clefable, T-Tar, Garchomp, Hippowdon, Scizor, Rhyperior, and Gengar. All Pokemon that are, well, outside of Rhyperior, all Pokemon that are in the upper echelon of OU. So Rain would have broken OU in BDSP. It absolutely would have broken it. So I agree with this one. I wholeheartedly agree. I think it's for the best. If we let it go on, you would see nothing but BDSP Rain teams. It's just so
because
strong.
Imagine right now, like, who do we have access to? So obviously we can't use things like Ferrothorn in the Rain, which is common. Again, he's a 5th gen Poke.
Exactly. No Barraskewda.
No Barraskewda, but we still have really great Swift Swim options. There are a couple of Hoenn Pokes that have come back. Huntail.
Yes.
Huntail is amazing Swift Swimmer, and obviously the special side with Gorobus.
Yep.
I had to think for a second. I didn't forget it.
It's been so long.
I remembered.
It's been so long.
Gorobus and Huntail coming back. Gorobus was insane. Obviously, Joey already put up a Clamperl video. Clamperl's awesome. One of the best underrated Hoenn reps of all time. Obviously with Shell Smash. Yeah. So that's what makes those good. Ludicolo's great in the Rain.
Kabutops.
With Swift Swim. You nailed it. Kabutops is so good. We also have things a little bit off meta, but you could still run things like Quillfish. Or not Octillery.
Mantine.
Yep, Mantine gets it, but what's Kabutops' counterpart?
Omastar.
Yeah, there you go.
Omastar. Yep.
There are a lot of good options. That are not, and obviously we already mentioned Kingdra. There are great options to abuse Swift Swim. And right now, to put it, the reason that I bring up all those Swift Swimmers, Brandon, if we were to run a Sand team, oh man, we can't run Excadrill because he's 5th gen. We can't run Lycanroc.
Yeah.
We can't run Stegozolt. What's his name? Dracozolt or Dracofish.
Dracozolt or Dracofish, yeah.
Brandon, what Sandrush users even exist in the BDSP meta?
Just Sandslash.
You see the difference, people? Like, obviously, we're putting on a little skit there, but we're trying to show you the example of, like, the difference between the haves and the have-nots and weather in 4th gen.
Yeah.
Because they didn't start to flesh these things out, because back in 4th gen, like, Drizzle was only on Kyurem.
Yeah, exactly. And now it's on a couple of different mons.
And now it's on Penelope.
Yeah.
So
we'll move on to the next.
Super interesting.
We'll move on to the next big thing in BDSP OU, and then we'll quickly move on to the last few things that we want to talk about. We got Latios getting suspect tested in BDSP OU. The suspect test runs until December 12th.
The king of Hoenn right now. Truly the king or queen of Hoenn.
Fully expect this Pokemon to get banned. Use it while you can.
Do you agree, personally, 0,
that it should be banned?
Yes.
Yes.
Do you think it's healthy if it was banned out of OU in BDSP?
Yeah, for the most part, yes. I think this is similar to Kyurem and UU, where it just didn't have switch-ins to things like Draco Meteor. And Draco Meteor is stronger now because of the lack of existence of fairies. You have specially defensive Scizor as well.
And viable OU steel types. Because, again, things like Ferrothorn and stuff didn't exist. So, like, we have Forretress, but Forretress is never has been anything but some sort of either gimmick or setup lead.
Yeah, and you don't want to run into Surf Latios, because that's one of the most common moves on him right now. You usually run the dual stab, you run Ice Beam, and you run Surf, or you can run Thunderbolt. I personally like the Bolt Beam coverage, and I get my water coverage elsewhere.
Correct. I'm with you. So again, for people to put it in context, this is one of the, we have to keep doing this because it is a 4th gen meta, but there are some later. Like we talked about how there's no Levitate on Gengar, even though in 4th gen he had Levitate.
Yes.
Latios and Latias maintain primarily their 4th gen move pool, which means they do not have access to Mystical Fire.
Yes.
Because it didn't exist back then.
Yep. And
so
that's a big deal.
We had talked about in Sword and Shield, one of the earlier podcasts, of how important and how good it is in 8th gen now that they have Mystical Fire. It's so amazing because back then they only had Focus Blast.
Yep.
But still, even without a fire type move, Latios and Latias, especially we're talking about Latios, this is the blue one.
Yep.
Their big claim to fame has always been their stats are great, but their impressive move pool.
Yes.
It's so deep. They can take almost everything that you need in terms of coverage, you can find in those 4 moves on that dragon. So that to me is what's so impressive in testing. We were kind of going through some stuff, shaking off our rust, and got blasted in the face. Like, oh man, forgot about Ice Beam.
Yeah.
Oh man, I also forgot about this. Oh man, he carries everything.
Yes.
But yeah, to put in perspective, we have been seeing a lot of. I agree with you. I like Bolt Beam, and we've been seeing a lot of Psy Shock.
Yes. And another
it's
thing.
Anecdotal. But for what it's worth, they seem to be running a lot of Psy Shock, which deals on the physical. It's special boosted, but it hits on their physical defense.
Yeah. It lacks switch-ins besides Clefable and Scizor, and even Clefable can't switch into Spec Psychic. So.
No. It's a 2-hit KO.
Yeah.
So that's the thing, is like people are trying to do the things like they're doing in Sword and Shield OU, which, like you had just mentioned, is a perfect example of Clefable. Something that was never OU back in 4th gen. But again, didn't have access to Dream World abilities or what is now hidden abilities. So I do think that the translation is decent in terms of Clefable's usage, but I don't think it's 1-for-1. I think she's better in Sword and Shield OU.
I think so too.
Because we have found that when we are running our Star Raptor, she couldn't switch into us. Choice Bandit Star Raptor 2-shots her.
Yeah. So to wrap this up, I think as far as Latios is concerned, the safest nuke in BDSP OU right now. That's why you see a lot of Weavile.
Do you run Pulse or Meteor?
I run Meteor. I like to just blow things up. You know how I am.
Yeah, I run Meteor on her. I do run Meteor on her because I'm usually choicing, or Expert Belt I really like a lot.
Yeah.
Because then you can kind of fake the choice.
Yep. So as far as Fallout, I expect this to get banned, and as far as Fallout is concerned, Weavile usage will not stop because I believe Garchomp and Salamence are going to get even stronger, and you're going to need an answer for those.
Correct.
And those
and
are
Dragonite.
And Dragonite, yeah, great point. So I don't expect Weavile or Mamoswine usage to go down once this is banned.
I agree.
I think
I think they're going to maintain OU status, and rightly so.
Yeah.
Which is cool, right? Like, being able to... Because Weavile's OU, I believe, right now in Sword and Shield, it could be borderline. But anyways...
It's borderline UU, but...
Gotcha. But in this meta, like, it's a solid, like, no. I'm the captain now.
Yeah, you have to plan for it. You have to
absolutely.
Plan for it.
It's so prevalent, and I think that's cool.
Yeah.
Being able to see the shift like that.
Yep.
And obviously, another thing, not only did we mention the couple of the dragons, but also Gliscor is heavy in the meta. So again, like, these ice types are not going away because Gliscor is not. Breloom.
Yeah, Breloom.
Like,
yep, that's another one.
All of these major threats are weak to ice. Ice is chef's kiss right now.
Yeah. Yeah, I do believe this will also lead to a Garchomp suspect test once this ban has.
Oh, do you?
Has been. Yeah, I do.
Even without access. So obviously, right now he does not have access to Scale Shot.
No,
but he still has 101 base speed and Sword Stance.
I think he's like 108 base speed. I think he's actually faster than 101.
Oh, is he? Wow.
Yeah. So I fully expect.
I might have been wrong on that one.
No, 102. No, we were both wrong.
102. Hey, I was close.
Yeah, you were closer. For sure.
I win the Price is Right.
Yes, you do. So yeah, I do think that's going to happen. So that's.
I think it's definitely going to be something in the cards where I'm going to piggyback off you and say, yeah, I agree with your call there with the Garchomp suspect. You're coming probably in the next month or two.
Yeah, I would agree. I would say that's.
Because we've seen a lot. We have seen a lot of it.
Yes. So
they also released tiny little side note. They also released on Showdown. You can go check either. I think it was on their Twitter, Facebook. Otherwise, they posted up the top usage for the BDSP. So now that they have officially cut it from OU, and they have officially, I think it was just last week, they made the UU meta live.
Yeah.
So now we have an official BDSP OU. It's not just. And we got to see, I think it was the top 30 or 32 in usage. It was really cool to see what was up there. A couple of surprises, but most of what we expected, and we've been seeing a lot of. I'm mincing my words. Sorry, the dogs are all look at her with her little jammy jams. But yeah, it was just really cool to see the correlation of like, yep, this makes sense. This is exactly what we've been seeing, and because Brandon and I have been doing a lot of BDSP testing, so we've been having a lot of fun with it.
Yep. So we will move back over to Sword and Shield for the rest of this video.
Take the lead, man. Walk us through it. What do we got?
First thing we've got, Mienshao is being suspect tested for UU. I believe this Pokemon was NU a few months ago, and it is moving up the ranks.
This is a PMC staple here. She did not make it into anyone's top 10.
No.
In terms of nostalgia love, but in terms of competitive love, we love our sleeve. She's a good girl. I came up with our sleeve set. Well, I think it was actually Brandon and I kind of dual came up with it way back in 5th gen, and it's been so popular that now basically that's kind of the staple set that everybody in our local meta kind of uses when we see Mienshao come out. Or like when you see a Mienshao on the team, like Doug was just using one like a month ago, and he's like, "Oh yeah, I'm using." He's like, "No, I didn't change anything. I just used the sleeves, copy paste. Yeah. Like if it ain't broke, don't fix it."
Yep.
Yeah, she's so good. She's got really good coverage. Fake out's amazing. Does she still get knock in BDSP?
Oh yeah.
Yeah. So obviously, knockoff is amazing.
It's
obviously we're talking about Sword and Shield now, but.
Yes.
I didn't mean BSP, I meant Sword and Shield. But yeah, so knockoff, fake out, either Drain Punch, close combat. There's lots of good fighting options there. High jump kick, I think we've seen a little bit.
Yep.
Do you think it's the Regenerator versions?
Yeah, I think the fact that there are so many Regenerator Pokemon in the UU tier makes this part of the reason why this needs a suspect test. Being able to U-turn into physically defensive Tangrowth or specially defensive Slow King. There's also the Galarian version of Slow Bro, and then Amoonguss. So you have.
Well, yeah, and Mienshao has great speed too, so she can do the fast U-turn out to your defensive pivot.
Yeah. So, and the fact that she's got Regenerate, if you don't one-hit KO this Pokemon, say they're running a Choice Scarf, it's so hard to. If you don't one-hit KO this Pokemon, if you don't somehow get a speed advantage and one-hit KO, this Pokemon will be back to wreck your team at some point. You know what I mean?
Good HP, yep.
Yeah, so the Life Orbs, so being the superb speed and tacking Life Orb on top and being able to switch in and out of your moves, that's really hard to deal with. Choice Scarf versions are really hard to deal with.
Life Orb is my personal favorite.
Same. So
Expert Belt's great.
Yeah.
Life Orb's great. Either Choice Scarf or Choice Band could potentially be really, really destructive. Heavy Duty Boots is a great option, obviously, for any pivoting poke, whether it's Volt Switch, U-turn, physical, special, doesn't matter. Heavy Duty Boots is great for offensive pivots, as we've shown on the channel with our Helena the Heliolisk many times.
Yeah.
So, not really much else to say. Mienshao's great. It's personally, I'm surprised to see her from like a competitive standpoint. I'm surprised to see her being suspect for OU, because that's what it would mean, right?
Yeah. And I'm glad that you
borderline, but essentially OU.
I'm glad
that's crazy.
I'm glad you said that, because I want to piggyback off that and say,
go for it.
The potential emergence of Mienshao would. So this suspect test ends on December 20. Kyurem could be banned on December 8th, on December 12th. So
what is Ice weak to, Brandon?
What is Ice is weak to fighting, and it's almost like you'll have a really fast stab fighting move here. So yeah, that's the point I want to make is Kyurem could get banned before Mienshao even makes it to OU, and I think that would be a huge missed opportunity there. I think the timing of this is really unfortunate, because you would be introducing a new check to Kyurem.
And this is, again, we try to not come from the standpoint of get good, but
no.
This Kyurem situation, in our opinion, is sort of kind of that a little bit.
So
not every scenario. Like Kyurem's great.
Yeah.
But you got to look at where he was just a few months ago, and it's like, what has changed in the meta? Well, nothing has been introduced. He wasn't Uber back when he was UU.
Yeah, they're almost introducing more and more counters to him.
Exactly.
So, that's Mienshao. Moving on to the next one, another fighting type. However, this one not quite able to counter Kyurem. Kommo-o has been banned out of UU.
So not suspect. He's gone.
Yeah. They had their suspect test, and I think this was one of the earliest ones that we are covering, or one of the oldest.
Really strong offensive dual stab. Really, really good stats. All across the board, honestly. His defensive typing is pretty lackluster, but he does have certain switch-ins, like obviously being fighting type, there are things that you can switch into.
Yes.
But being quad 4 weak to fairy, OU meta game, I don't know.
Yeah, that's...
For my personal opinion, it sounds risky.
So the reasoning...
He's good. He's really good.
He is.
He's insanely good.
The reasoning behind the ban here is because he's so versatile, is basically what they're saying. I don't love when that's the reasoning. I understand for things like Mew. Mew is truly unpredictable.
Correct.
Kommo-o, I think it just takes a little bit of team scouting before the match to kind of discern what this Kommo-o is, because there's physically defensive Rock Setter, Body Press, there's Clangorous Soul, there is Dragon Dance. So I kind of get it. But I
personally ran Bulk Up.
There is Bulk Up. So yeah, like I kind of get it.
I was on the channel too. I swept Doug with him. That was Scales' debut.
Yeah.
Sorry, Doug. I love you, buddy.
Sorry, Doug.
Scales came out to play.
So so another Pokemon that could potentially handle Kyurem is already in the meta.
Two good fighting types. Obviously, Kyurem, the Ice type being neutral because he's fighting. That's sort of one of the benefits. But he obviously can just drop a Draco on us. But again, it's about getting like you said, either scouting the team or getting the right switcher or getting the right read, and you have to set those plays up, and that's literally the whole basis of the game that we play. So I agree with you.
So
he does have some potential, very good. Jokes aside about the quad 4 weak to fairy, he does have some very good potential niches that he could fill in a lot of different team comps.
The last point I want to make about this Pokemon is the Dragon Dance version is still slower than Scarf Kyurem. So at the same time, you've introduced a Pokemon that can handle Kyurem, but at the same time can't. So their relationship is pretty interesting.
Dragon Dance Scale Shot?
Yeah. Yeah, you can definitely do that. Yeah.
There's your speed boost.
So yeah.
Yeah. So what's is that all for OU?
Or that's
Or
you.
UU,
Yep. We're moving on down to NU. Indeedee male.
Here we go.
Indeedee male.
So these are the horns up. This is the boy. This is the faster, squishier, offensive version. So this is going to be the one that comes in. You're probably going to see it scarfed a lot.
Yep.
And you're going to see it just, with Psychic Terrain, and you're going to see it, what we call in the community, in the biz, we call it the size span, which is going to be clicking expanding for us till everything's dead.
Yeah. So he was already NUBL. And then with the newest tier shifts, they decided, hey, let's suspect test him again. Let's see.
And they made him officially NU.
Yes. So he came back to NU for a little bit, and then they decided, you know what, this is still too strong. It makes sense. It does have a lot of defensive. Like, there are things I think that can handle it, but at the same time, like I think about like an assault vest or especially defensive. Kaparaja is a really good switch in, but at the same time, this Pokemon gets Mystical Fire, so
and Dazzle
and Dazzling Gleam, so
like you can't. So switching into a Dark to eat the Psychic's not always free.
No, it's not.
If they're either not choiced or if they get the prediction correct, you know what I mean. Like Dazzle hurts. So
and if you don't have a resistance to Psychic, which you should have a Psychic Resist, you should have a Dark type, or you should have some sort of special defensive Pokemon.
It should come pretty easy. Like, I feel like offensively, Psychic has dropped a rung or two this gen in terms of finding its niche.
Yeah. But another
Sword and Shield.
Another interesting thing I think you can't fail to mention is the fact that you can't, if you're not faster than a Scarf version of this Pokemon, you can't use Priority to counter it because of Psychic Terrain. So that is another big thing. Like, you can't Sucker Punch this Pokemon.
No extreme speed.
No extreme speed, yeah.
I mentioned that because Jake's in this tier.
Yes. Yeah, that was literally...
I don't know if I've ever shown anybody on the channel, but Jake the Arcanine. Jake, come here. Come, buddy.
Hold on one second. Yeah. Jake the Arcanine.
Here he is. Jake. Hey, right here, buddy. There he is.
Jake, yep, there's Arcanine right there.
That's my Arcanine.
Yep.
That's my buddy.
Yeah. Yeah, so makes a lot of sense. That this Pokemon got banned, to me personally. I hate to see it.
It makes a lot of sense. And he fits in the NU metagame. Obviously, NU is a game that we play a lot. It's a tier that we love. It's our second most played. And I feel like he really does have a good niche here. Don't you? Like, he's a good, like, sort of a glass cannon, special, like, offensive support kind of niche.
Yeah.
And like, that's cool, especially because... For us personally, we are a huge fan, as we've mentioned in the NU show and many times before, we're a big fan and think there's a lot of stocks in fighting types in the NU metagame.
Yeah.
So bringing him in to counter, if I send out Jackie the Hitmonchan or something, I can't Mach Punch, I can't do anything. You're just going to one-shot me.
Yep. Yeah.
So just as a random example, and obviously he takes out all Hitmons, whether it's Lee, Top, or Chan. So
yeah, you can't safely go to Gudra or Guzzlord because we got Dazzling Gleam.
We'll slap him. So Guzzlord's just going to drop in one shot because it's ×4 Dark Dragon.
Yeah. Sirfetch'd can't use First Impression. Toxicroak can't Sucker Punch. Tyrantrum is
he's going to destroy Toxicroak ×4 weak to Expanding Force on terrain. You're going to kill about 12 Toxicroak in one shot.
Yeah, Zoroark's going to get destroyed by by the right prediction.
You see what I mean? Like, he fit. When you actually look at the tier, you're like, okay, this dude actually, okay. Like,
Comfy can't Giga Drain or Draining Kiss. Decidueye can't use Shadow Sneak. Delmise can't use Shadow Sneak. Doublade can't use Shadow Sneak. And I do believe this Pokemon does get access to Shadow Ball as well.
He does.
So
and Stab Hyper Voice is a great coverage option.
Exactly. So yeah, that kind of.
I think he's great. I think he's going to find a really good niche. We might actually even feature him in
an RU game.
In an RU game.
Yeah. So that does it for NU. We're going to move on to PU. These two we're going to do really quickly. We got Drampa has moved on from PU to PUBL. Also, this is in the same vein as Latios, right?
Yeah.
There's
super thick. Great double stab with Hyper Voice and Draco or Dragon Pulse, but I mean, let's be real. You're gonna run Draco.
Yeah,
he's got great coverage options. He gets Flamethrower. He gets Hurricane. He gets all sorts of random crap. He's super bulky. He's great in a trick room. He has an amazing ability with Berserk to boost his own special attack. He's just all around hard to deal with for certain teams, especially in low tier. So when they bump him up to PUBL, it essentially makes him NU.
Yes.
And as we already talked about, there's a decent prevalence of fighting types.
Yep.
Which is so. I do think he's going to find a spot in NU, but I don't think it's going to be anywhere near to as prevalent as he would be in PU.
Yeah. I mean, it's unfortunate that he got banned because he was pretty good down here, but he was just a little too good, you know.
Yep.
Because he nukes.
You used him against me. You swept me with him.
Yeah, you can't switch in on him. You literally can't switch in on him. So if you're like choice locked into a ghost move from like Frostlass or something, then that's a free Draco Meteor. Like you can't like misplay around him.
No, and it does so much damage.
Yeah. Okay, so the last thing we wanted to talk about, Vanilluxe has been banned out of ZU.
I'm not surprised one bit, are you?
No, because
Hail's good in low tiers.
Yeah, this is the literal like weakest version of like the Latios situation that I could potentially think of. You know, like Specs Freeze Dry covers a lot of Pokemon in the tier. There's a lot of water types down here.
He's got a decent speed tier. He does get Aurora Veil. He gets Blizzard. And then on top of that, the fact that it's the fact that he has the ability Snow Morning. It's the fact that he starts Hail, and then what other mons can abuse it down in ZU. I think that might be.
You got Bear Tick down here.
Mm-hmm.
You know,
I believe there's Arctivish.
I don't see him, but he might be untiered. I think he's untiered. But yeah, like when you look at like the Pokemon in the tier, like Wishy Washy, you can freeze dry that. Unpheasant, Trevenant, Thwackey can get the Grassy Glide, but like I think just the fact that freeze dry is so spammable in this tier. I'm looking at this tier, and there's a lot of things that are weak to ice. And things that don't resist it are going to take a lot of damage. Because Vanilluxe is not sitting on a terrible special attack. Yeah, it's...
Is it 110?
Yeah, 110. Yep. So, yeah.
What's that speed? 81?
79.
79.
Which is good. Which is good.
Yeah, that's good. Good speed tier.
Yeah.
It's like a solid B tier.
Yeah, so like as we scarf this Pokemon, like, yeah, it's pretty easy to take out anything at half health. You know.
Yeah, you get Flash Cannon for fairies.
Yeah. So yeah, I think that's going to do it for the video, guys. I hope you guys enjoyed this. This is something that we could have done in a podcast, but as you see, it probably would have taken us a really long time, considering this video is.
We didn't want to rush it either, because like if we did it in a podcast, we'd try to be cognizant of time and all other crap we have to talk about. And we felt like there were some real interesting changes here, and we haven't really talked about the BDSP meta in entirety, so this was kind of everything all in one. We just wanted to look, we got too much to talk about. Let's just put it out next.
We're a little behind on our bans and suspect test news, so I thought it'd be really cool to just do it all together, and we'll follow up with these on podcasts, like the things that end up getting banned. Absolutely. We'll talk about them,
especially with Kyurem, Sleeves,
Latios,
Mienshao,
Latios.
We're definitely going to keep a close eye on all of these, and we're definitely going to be looking to try out Kommo-o and OU is going to be fun to try, and we're going to be looking to try Indeedee Male and NU, so stay tuned for that in the channel. And if we put them up in the future, hopefully future Justin and Brandon will remember to put links in the description so you guys can go watch those videos.
All right, guys. Well, we hope you guys enjoyed the video. Hope you guys enjoyed the discussion. Please discuss with us. Leave some comments what you think about these Pokemon and what your opinions are on them.
That means you, Doug.
Yeah, Doug. Everybody. All right, guys. Until next time, I've been Zero.
And I'm Justin.
Class is dismissed.